Alright, so good afternoon. So my name is Sabrina and I'm here and come from Aix-en-Provence Area Control Center. I'm here today to present to you the impact of bad weather conditions for air traffic in next ACC. So indeed, with the recent events, meteorological conditions have been a real issue in aviation over the past few months. Moreover, even if few incidents happened, are reported, many more happen. So my presentation today will be threefold. Firstly, I will explain what kind of weather conditions can be dangerous or can jeopardize safety. Then I will describe an incident where one of those conditions was involved. And finally, I will give some proposals for safety to be improved. So first of all, what kind of weather conditions can be dangerous? So one of the most hazardous condition, one of the most is storm, since it gathers all the phenomena pilots need to avoid. So we can put, for example, turbulence that can damage the structure or hit passengers, icing that can decrease the lift, lightning that can damage the electronics, and precipitation such as rain, hail, or snow. And sometimes snow can lead to something less expected. Air traffic controllers just cannot go to work. Nevertheless, what is more frequent in Aix-en-Provence area control center is bad weather conditions due to its location of its controlled area. So the controlled area goes from the Alps to the Mediterranean Sea. This area is often stormy, particularly during summer, while traffic is increasing, so from April to October. So bad weather conditions have an impact on air traffic controller's job. Indeed, in stormy conditions, pilots need to avoid CVs. That's where are located the storms, and they often do so without telling you. That's why a lot of coordinations have to be done between the sectors, and that's why we've got a real impression of losing aircraft routes. Just to remind you, the regulation for the separation minima, its vertical separation is 1,000 feet and horizontal separation is 5 nautical miles. And one of the best rules during stormy conditions is to separate aircraft vertically. So I'll now describe an incident where storms were involved. So the sector where the incident took place is the upper sector above Nice, so around here. It was a very stormy night in October 2007. So the two aircraft were involved are Aerostrom AA20 and TJet 1071. So both aircraft, so Aerostrom AA20 was 10 nautical miles ahead TJet 1071. Both cleared at the same flight level, that's flight level 280, and heading to the same route to Pygos. So Aerostrom was here and TJet was around here. So Aerostrom AA20 decided to carry on its route to Pygos, despite the fact that previous aircraft reported to avoid weather by the right. TJet 1071, however, did so, as we can see it. Aerostrom AA20 got closer and closer to the storm, which we assume was located around here. And it got too close, and he finally decided at last to avoid the weather by the right. It took an avoiding vector of 90 degrees, and he told air traffic controller that he was taking an avoiding vector of 40 degrees. So this, of course, led to a resolution advisory TCAS between both aircraft, since they were too close to each other and cleared at the same flight level. and we ended up with a separation of 500 feet for 3.4 nautical miles. As far as the feedback is concerned, so from the event, the air traffic controller just did not warn Air Nostrum how previous traffic avoided the storm. Since this incident was relevant enough, an investigation was carried out. That's why we got the feedback from the investigation service. They emphasize the fact that during stormy conditions, such information should always be given to aircraft. That's information of how previous aircraft avoided weather. And they remind the fact that that separating with the vertical separation should always be kept in mind. We can also give some other proposals. All over their career, air traffic controllers have briefings, some general ones, some specific ones. Specific ones are called TRM, that's Team Resource Management. So a new TRM could be created and could be put in place to remind air traffic controllers how to deal with bad weather conditions, and it could happen just before summer because that's when we are more likely to have storms. So, air traffic controllers are too often passive during stormy conditions since they don't know in advance what pilots would do. So, and the only reference they have is information that comes from aircraft. A solution would be to add weather information on radar screen and information that air traffic controller could display whenever they want and whenever they need. This system actually already exists in Switzerland, and such information should of course be updated since storms are moving very fastly. And that's why data link could help, since pilots would be able to send their very accurate weather information to the system previously described. This would of course raise some concern as far as the cost is concerned and as far as the way to put it in place is concerned. However, technology is improving and safety shouldn't be a matter of money. To conclude, bad weather conditions are very difficult for air traffic controllers to cope with, and with a very poor technology to help. Moreover, with since the recent events, since the crash of Air France 447, pilots feel more and more concerned with bad weather conditions, and this leads fear to settle down in everybody's mind during stormy conditions, conditions already too difficult to interfere with sailings. If you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question.